Hello, my name is Ting Sun. This is the presentation for FinTech course, and my topic today is about the hacking analysis on Meteor. First of all, I'll talk a little bit about Meteor. So Meteor is a DeFi infrastructure with a built-in crypto-native meta-stable currency, and it functions as a highly decentralized and high-performance EVM-compatible sidechain for Ethereum and other public chains. There are two major problems they're trying to solve, that is, currency and scalability. We're going to discuss one by one, starting from the currency. The first problem they want to solve is the lack of stable, decentralized monetary unit. They created the coin MTR or Meteor Meta Stablecoin as the stable currency everybody should be using. This currency can be stable because it anchors the price to the global electricity price, which according to them is one of the most stable resources in the world. Next is the scalability issue. Meteor was built from the ground up to enable DeFi. DeFi apps like decentralized exchanges, the synthetic asset platforms, lending applications, and many others can be built on top of Meteor to leverage its fast, decentralized network. There are a few technologies Meteor used for scaling. There is 5, namely hot stuff consensus, instant finality, front-running resistant, hybrid proof of work and proof of stake, and censorship resistant. The first one is the hot stuff consensus. I won't explain in detail like what is it, because there is a whole paper written about it, but this basically is the network is faster than other consensus, yet still being secure. Its network is assumed to be a reliable and secure peer-to-peer network, and its communication model adopts the partial synchrony model. Okay, next is the instant finality. Every block in the Meteor blockchain is final, so there is no rollback or double spending. So basically what you see is what you have. Next is the front-running resistant. Meteor charges a base gas price instead of ranking transaction by gas price. The transactions are ordered by the time the network receives them and automatically expires them if they are not processed in the preset time. Next is the hybrid proof of work and proof of stake. This one, to me, is the most interesting one. Basically, Meteor combines the benefits and avoids the shortfalls for proof of work and proof of stake. The proof of work chain is used for mining MTR, the metastable gas currency, to provide the permissionless entry. Transaction and states are secure on the proof of stake chain, which ensures a speed and security. Lastly is the censorship resistant, which refers to the freedom to transact, freedom from confiscation, and transaction immutability. Meteor's randomized layered network communication protocol scales to thousands of consensus nodes without impacting performance. Next is the technology used for interoperability. There's 3: N-way router, decentralized relayers, and asset and message cross-chain. I will not talk too much in here, but in N-way router, there's a technology called Meteor Passport. It is an N-way multi-chain router that enables smart contracts to both transfer assets and communicate across blockchains. Basically, they support cross-blockchain communication. Keep this Meteor Passport in mind because we're going to talk about it later. Next is the decentralized relayers. Basically, it protects the security and liveness for cross-chain transactions. Lastly, asset and message cross-chain. They support ERC20, ERC721, and ERC1155 and other generic messages. Okay, so before the attack happened, Meteor Foundation has raised about 2.3 million since 2018 according to their post-mortem report. So what exactly happened in the hacking? What opportunities did the hacker see? Meteor Passport, as I've mentioned earlier, is a fork of chain-safe chain bridge. So this it's a fork of this GitHub repository, but with one change introduced to the deposit method of the ERC20 handler. I'll explain it in the next slide. Because of this change, there's a vulnerability in one of the functions of their code The attack started at 6 a.m. PST or 10 p.m. Taiwan time, or on February 5th, when the attacker maliciously minted a substantial amount of BNB and wrapped ETH tokens, draining the bridge reserve of its BNB and wrapped ETH before all bridge transactions could be halted by Meter. So they added this line, the if line in their code. We can read directly from the code, but basically, if the token address, this variable, is not a wrapped native token, then it will either burn or locked. Otherwise, it will do nothing. So now this assumption is fine for one of the deposit methods called deposit ETH, which also asserts the value of amount in the call data, which will then ultimately get passed to the handler's deposit method. And then this assumption is doesn't hold true for this method, which is the underlying ETH20 deposit function, which is mostly unguarded. They don't put any constraint or anything. Yeah, so the hacker noticed this vulnerability, and they send an arbitrary amount in the call data, which gets passed to this function. That's how they can drain the money. Okay, so in this attack, Meter lost approximately $4.3 million. Additionally, because 100 Finance relied on Meter Bridge, they also lost approximately $3.3 million. The loot was then moved into Tornado Cash and for laundering across multiple transactions over the span of 1 hour. And this image here is the visualization of the attacker's address using Skytrace. So what can be better? Meter has responded quickly to fix the vulnerabilities and consulted with security advisor to mitigate future risks. If I were to have any say in this, maybe they could add an additional layer of security to prevent this kind of attack again, because bridges like Meter are very prone to this kind of attack. So more security means safer. Okay, this is the references used in the presentation. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you.